Conservative hate radio host Rush Limbaugh addressed NASA's announcement yesterday that evidence of flowing water has been found on present-day Mars. He doesn't believe it, Lewis. He thinks it might be a left-wing conspiracy. A conspiracy to do what? I don't know. Let's listen to what Rush said.
What, are you going there next week? What's the big deal about flowing water on Mars? I don't know, ma'am. It just, wow. I said, you know what? When they start selling iPhones on Mars, that's when it'll matter to me. I said, what do you think they're going to do with this news? I said, look at the temperature data that has been reported by NASA, has been made up. It's fraudulent for however many years. There isn't any warming. There hasn't been for 18 and a half years. And yet they're lying about it. They're just making up the amount of ice at the North and South Poles. They're making up the temperatures. They're lying and making up false charts and so forth. So what's to stop them from making up something that happened on Mars?
Right.
That will help advance their left-wing agenda on this planet. And Snerdley paused. Oh, yeah, you're right. You know, when I play golf with excellent golfers, I ask them, does it ever get boring playing well? Does it ever get boring hitting shot after shot where you want to hit it? And they all look at me and smile and they say, never. Well, folks, it never gets boring being right either.
That's right, Lewis. Rush Limbaugh is sick and tired of being right all the time, including with his latest hypothesis that the Mars water discovery is part of NASA's conspiracy to make people think there's climate change, which Rush believes there is not.
Everything is just a conspiracy with this guy. I think his listeners probably just find that fascinating when everything that happens is a conspiracy. I mean, if anything, this would just be a conspiracy to get NASA more funding, which, you know what, is perfectly okay with me.
A guy who took so much OxyContin that he made himself deaf thinks that NASA finding water on Mars is part of a left-wing conspiracy. That's the sort of one-sentence summary, Lewis, of this analysis.
I guess that's a good one. I think the drugs may have warped his brain as well, but this guy still has millions of listeners and is making millions of dollars. It's crazy.
And we're not laughing, by the way, at opioid addiction. Very, very serious issue. It is an illness. And we're just saying here, someone who showed the poor judgment to start going down that path in the first place is not the guy I would necessarily be listening to. I can't imagine what it must be like to have such little intellectual curiosity that a discovery like this, right? Liquid water, the possibility of life in the universe outside of our planet, even maybe very primitive, doesn't even mean anything to Rush Limbaugh. It's all just a left-wing lie. I mean, it's kind of sad. It's sad to go through life in that way.
There are a lot of people like that, though, and maybe he just doesn't care. Maybe he thinks that in his lifetime, none of this will matter. Because he doesn't strike me as the extremely religious type, not believing in life outside of our planet.